Good afternoon, my name is Adrian Prikop, and today we are going to talk about free economic zones from Moldova. In line with best practices of GRATA International, we are coming to offer our colleagues from other countries and their clients a short presentation on the opportunities offered by the legal and institutional framework of our country. The Republic of Moldova is located between Romania and Ukraine, and it has a population of 2.6 million people. The national currency is Moldovan leu. Moldova has multiple advantages for carrying out a broad range of economic activities, such as successful positioning between the Eastern market and the EU, free trade agreement with both economic zones, the existence of several free economic zones within the country, as well as a flat tax rate. Taxes and fees in the Republic of Moldova are based on several principles, of which we would like to mention two: taxation neutrality, ensuring equal conditions for investors, domestic and foreign capital, and fairness of taxation, equal treatment of individuals and legal entities operating under similar conditions, thus ensuring an equal tax burden. We believe that these principles are the most important for potential foreign investors. This fiscal philosophy aims to create the most comfortable conditions for investors and increase the return of investment. In Moldova, the single income tax of 12% is applied to both individuals and legal entities. Legal entities also pay 20% VAT. In addition to income tax and VAT, companies and individuals are also subject to local taxes and real estate taxes. In addition to the tax regime, the legislation of Republic of Moldova also provides for other business opportunities. In spite of the advantages mentioned above, we cannot overlook the fact that Moldova is a small market with a low capacity to absorb a large volume of products and services. Thus, in order to overcome these fixed constraints, a novel concept has been developed in the Republic of Moldova, aimed at providing foreign and local investors with the opportunity to create businesses with higher potential than the capacity of the local market. This has been implemented through the creation of a network of free economic zones throughout the country that offer investors new opportunities and prospects for doing business. In particular, the goal was to attract investments and increase the export potential. The framework law was adopted in 2001. Based on its provisions, local and foreign investors have obtained many facilities and opportunities. The basic condition for becoming a resident of a free zone is that the investor, either a natural or legal person, is registered as an entrepreneur. This investor is free to choose the zone in which he wants to operate. After choosing it, the investor will apply for resident status. The selection of residence is made by the administration of the free zone through competition, based on several criteria, such as the type of activity, the volume of investment, the availability of the zone for new residents, the labor market, and the existing infrastructure. After selection, Free Zones Administration will sign a contract with the resident. Contract shall be valid throughout the entire period of activity of the free zone. The contract shall contain the following provisions: the type of activity authorized, the right and obligations of the resident and the administration, the economic project to be carried out in the free zone and its expected parameters, the amount of area payments and of the rent taxes and payments, facilities granted to the resident by the administration, the type of reports to be submitted by the resident, the responsibilities of the parties in case of breach of the contractual requirements, other matters according to the agreement between the parties. At the moment, 7 zones are active in the Republic: Taraclia, Otaci Business, Tvardița, Expo Business Chișinău, Belts, Vulcănești, Ungheni Business. Each free zone is established based on a special law. The main provision of these laws refer to the location of the zone, its surface, and the term of activity. $453 million of investments have been made in the free economic zones since the beginning of their establishment. We have already mentioned that in Moldova the single income tax rate is applied in the amount of 12%, both for individuals and legal entities. At the moment, the tax code provides for several tax incentives related to the type of activity of the taxpayer. Thus, an exception to the general rate of 12% is applied to the residents of the free zones. The incentives offered to residents are regulated by a broad legal framework, namely Law on Free Economic Zones, Fiscal Code, and Customs Code. I propose that we examine them one at a time in order to have a clear picture of the subject. Free economic zones are clearly defined and fenced territories that ensure the security of residents' assets. Free zones administration provide residents with the necessary infrastructure for the activity and ensures its adjustment and/or development. This reveals the resident from bureaucracy and other organizational costs. Residents have the right to make mutual settlements in foreign currency. This reduces currency risk and costs related to banking operations. Each zone has a dedicated customs point that operates around the clock. This facility provides increased comfort and safety for logistic operations. It saves a lot of time and effort for import and/or export operations. In addition to the operational advantage, a simplified procedure is also applied. The goods and services within the zone shall have the status of free movement and may be transmitted from one resident to another without fulfilling the customs declaration. Foreign investors and residence employees are exempted from paying consular fees when issuing service visas, and moreover, in order to obtain a residence and work permit for a period of 5 years, all you need is a request from the zone's administrator. The law also provides state guarantees for the investment made in free zones. This involves maintaining the conditions of operations carried out at the time of conclusion of the contract with the free zone concerned. The guarantees provide for the right of residents to work for 10 years from the date of occurrence of legislative changes under the law until the amendment. The residents of free economic zones are imposed with 75% of the quota established from the income obtained from the activity carried out within the free zone, if the activity is not related to the export of goods and services, and by 50% in the case of income obtained from the export of goods and services outside the customs territory of the Republic of Moldova. Residents of free economic zones who invest in fixed assets a capital of at least $1 million are exempt from paying income tax for a period of 3 years, and in the case of a similar investment of at least $5 million they are exempt from paying income tax for a period of 5 years. In addition, they are exempt from VAT for goods delivered and services rendered to the residents within the free zone, as well as in the case of export of goods and services outside the customs territory of the Republic of Moldova. Another relief relates to the exemption from excise duty on goods imported into free zone, as well as in the case of deliveries of these goods between different zones and between residents. The Customs Code provides the exemption from import duties for the import of goods from the rest of Moldova's customs territory as well as from abroad. Thus, we can conclude that the resident status of the economic zone offers the advantage of substantially reducing the costs related to an economic activity compared to the costs of a similar activity carried out on the customs territory of the Republic of Moldova, and as well the possibility of permanent increasing of the production volume thanks to the export opportunities.